we did it. This is the 100th YouTube video I did. I never thought I'd get this far, but I'm at 100. Okay, let's get started with me ranking the Scooby-Doo and Guess Who monsters. At number 52, the evil giant teddy bear. The evil giant teddy bear just doesn't really work. It's barely in the episode because it's mainly focused on the Flash. I mean, it is a pretty decent episode, but still, it just doesn't really work. At number 51, Frankenfooter's monster. I mean, this one can be very interesting, but, I mean, to Scooby and Shaggy, this would be heaven, a whole monster made out of a variety of food. I mean, Frankenfooter's monster is interesting, but this is as high as I can put it. At number 50, the Ghost of Esther Moonkiller. The Ghost of Esther Moonkiller just isn't that good, in my opinion, at least. It just doesn't seem to be it just doesn't seem to be really much of a threat. I mean, I know. What more can I say? At number 49, Mr. Hyde. Yeah, they do the same thing with Mr. Hyde. I mean, Mr. Hyde is pretty interesting. This iteration with Sandy Dunk and making a reappearance like in the original with the new Scooby-Doo movies. I mean, it's just, this is as high as I could put it. At number 48, the giant gorilla and hooded man. The hooded man is barely in the episode, only making a small one in the end. And the giant gorilla isn't that interesting, in my opinion. And what's ironic, it's a gorilla in a gorilla suit. That's just crazy. At number 47, the Fire Beast. I actually like the Fire Beast, but out of all the 52 in this series, this is probably as high as I can put it, because some monsters just don't stack up to this. So, yeah. At number 46, the Minotaur. I mean, the Minotaur is interesting, and with the culprit being an athlete able to hold off Wonder Woman, because this is basically a reincarnation of the new Scooby-Doo movies where guest stars appear. The Minotaur is very interesting, but of all the 45 after this, I can only put it this high. At number 45, the Screaming Skulls. Unlike a normal skeleton, this is just a bunch of skulls. In the reality, it's just like this machine car. I mean, it is interesting enough. But this will be as high as I could put the Screaming Skulls. At number 44, the Army Ghosts or Zombies. I mean, the army ghosts are very interesting with the whole culprit trying to find this treasure after finding the treasure map and using the army ghosts. I mean, it can work. But out of all of this, this is probably as high as I could put them. At number 43, the Nightmare Ghost. The Nightmare Ghost is pretty interesting. Interesting being really tall and lengthy. The reason of it being taller is because of stilts. And it's just got a really good one. The Nightmare Ghost is just really solid. At number 42, the Chrono Beast. The Chrono Beast is decently solid. I mean, the Chrono Beast has some great potential, with the whole episode being like a time travel episode. Yeah, the Chrono Beast is really solid. At number 41, the Ghost of Talus Taggart, or the Phantom of Captain Taggart. It's really solid. I mean, it has a great design with the blue pattern. I mean, and it's good with levitating. It's got a pretty creepy design. And I mean, it's really solid. I mean, yeah. That's just how it is. At number 40, the Gargoyle. The Gargoyle in this series is actually pretty solid. I mean, it's threatening. It can fly like most gargoyles. It's got a decent design. I mean, and the gargoyle's master plan of forging art, because the culprit wants to be an artist. I think that's how it played out. Yeah, probably. That's just how it is. I mean, it's just very interesting. At number 39, the Caveman. The Caveman is pretty similar to the one from the original series, being melted from a block of ice, but this time being in like a snowboarding area instead of like a marine center. The Caveman is just decently solid. It's got like a club, a similar design to the original series. So, yeah. At number 48, the Elevator Operator Ghost. The Elevator Operator Ghost is really solid. It's got a great design with like the typical elevator operator clothing and like blue skin. It's just really solid. I gotta put it around here because it actually is decent in the episode it reappears in. I mean, this is one of the newer Scooby-Doo series other than Velma, but to be honest, Velma is a disgrace. I mean, they got rid of Scooby. Okay, I'm going too on about this. At number 37, the Ghost of Charles M. Thrabber. The Ghost of Charles M. Thrabber is actually really solid. With the ghost able to control inanimate objects, it's really solid. I gotta put it this high because, to be honest, it's probably one of the best from season 2. At number 36, the Ghost of Tab Tatters and the Skeleton of Bones McCann. First off, with the Ghost of Tab Tatters, it's got a really great design. I like the green suit it has. I mean, in the Skeleton of Bones McCann, being a threat. I mean, both of these are honestly great in the episode they reappear in. I gotta put them around here. At number 35, the Swamp Monster. This is the villain from the first episode, and it's really solid, honestly. The Swamp Monster is good. It has basically super strength because it's during a golf tournament, and it's a caddy after years of swinging golf clubs, and the costume made him bigger in size. I gotta put him this around here. At number 30 for the Cat Mummy. Instead of your stereotypical mummy, it's a cat this time. Really solid. And a master plan of getting this like vase Ricky Gervais got for his cat Ollie, R.I.P. I mean, it's just really solid. At number 33, the green and purple dinosaurs. Yeah, dinosaurs do make for a decent Scooby-Doo episode. And this is the episode with Weird Al Yankovic in his accordion camp. I mean, come on. Weird Al Yankovic is really solid. I mean, and these dinosaurs do go off as a great threat. At number 32, the Fox Monster. The Fox Monster is honestly one of the best from the series. It's like a giant humanoid fox. It's gotta be really solid. I gotta put it this high. At number 31, the Ghost of Madame Zabrinsky. This is like a Captain Cutler situation where the Ghost of Madame Zabrinsky is the Madame Zabrinsky. Yeah, I mean, you didn't expect this. I just gotta put it this high. At number 30, the Werewolf. The Werewolf is honestly really solid. And this is a whole musical episode, so it's decent. I mean, the Werewolf is like on the levels of the Be Cool Werewolf. At number 29, the Tardigrade Monster, or the Water Bear Monster. The Tardigrade Monster is really solid for the final episode of Season 1. I gotta put the Tardigrade Monster this high because it's actually a really threat. At number 28, the Hologram Monster, the Wicked Witch of the West, the Flying Monkey, and his minions. These are the ones from the final episode. And some of it takes place in, near the Wizard of Oz. And the Hologram Monster is actually really solid. I gotta put it this high. I mean, the final episode of this series is solid. At number 27, the Space Alien. The Space Alien is actually pretty good. And to be honest, he was rewarded in the end with the money because I guess I don't remember exactly how it played out. I haven't watched the episode in a while. At number 26, the Pterodactyl. The Pterodactyl is honestly pretty solid. Your typical pterodactyl. It can fly, got screeching. It's really solid. At number 25, the Green Man Monster. It's basically just like a giant flower monster. And this episode being basically like the Scooby. Being with the guest star being from The Hobbit. I mean, the Green Man Monster is basically a threat able to control plants. At number 24, the Robot. The Robot has one mission to destroy things, and it's like in a boxing episode. I gotta put it this high. At number 23, the Snow Devil. The Snow Devil is really solid, able to go across the ice at a really quick rate, being that the villain was a retired hockey player, and to steal the lake for his own gang through bottles of water. That's not gain. I meant gain, not gang. Yeah. And number 22, the Gnarled One. It's basically just a giant tree man monster. It's really solid. I like this episode. And it's a threat able to make vines appear, affecting Scooby's hearing. Phew, we're already so far into this video. And number 21, the Wedding Witch of Wainsley Hall. The Wedding Witch of Wainsley Hall is really solid. It's a threat and one of the top monsters of the series. At number 20, the Man-Bat. Batman makes an appearance in this episode, and the Man-Bat appears to be the Joker to steal and kidnaps Alfred to steal into his credit card to buy lipstick, I think? I don't know. At number 19, the Ghost of Pazzo the Clown. The Ghost of Pazzo the Clown is really solid. It's a threat, and I love it. Pazzo the Clown is just really solid. At number 18, the Sia Doppelganger, the singer and songwriter Sia. The Sia Doppelganger is really solid, athletic, being Sia's trainer, smelling like bacon because the ghost was eating bacon. At number 17, the Spectral Speedster. The Spectral Speedster is really solid. It's a threat. It's agile. I mean, I gotta put it this high. At number 16, the Ghost of Professor Mads Markson and the Rabbit Monster. First off, with the Ghost of Mads Markson, I like the purple it has. It's works really good. And as for the rabbit monster, it's also solid. I gotta put it this high. And number 15, the Technomancer. The Technomancer is really solid, similar to like the Green Ghost, the Ice Cream Phantoms. The Technomancer is a threat able to steal the submarine that was filled with gold and replacing it with plastic. Smart. And number 14, the Gatorman monster. The Gatorman monster is honestly pretty good, similar to the Gator Ghoul, one of my favorites from the series. And number 13, the zombie mascot. And in this episode, the culprit did all this just to save the meddling kids line. I would want to do the same, maybe. It's just really solid. And number 12, the Snake Man monster. The Snake Man monster is really solid, similar to the Snake Demon, which I might cover in another video. I'm just gotta put it this high. It's a real threat. And number 11, the Mudmen. The Mudmen are really solid. They're a threat, and they're just really great in this episode. And time for the top 10. And number 10, Captain Cutler, Redbeard Charlie, and the Creeper. Just a bunch of old monsters reappear in this episode, and it's great. And being the voice actors behind them being Grey Griffin, Matthew Lillard, Kate Micucci, and how can we not forget the legend himself, Frank Welker. This is just a really great episode. And number 9, Crazy Carl. Crazy Carl is basically a ventriloquist dummy and pretty creative. I mean, Crazy Carl is just really solid in my opinion. And number 8, the Ghost of the Doombringer. The Ghost of the Doombringer has a great design, as I included him in the thumbnail. Just the Ghost of the Doombringer is really solid in my opinion. And number 7, the Phineas Farg monster. The Phineas Farg monster is pretty great. He can fly, he's trying to get oil, and the culprit is a person who was in the episode with Weird Al Yankovic. I just gotta put it this high. The Phineas Farg monster is honestly really good. And number 6, Max Kilobyte. Max Kilobyte is good. A decent robot. I gotta put it this high. And time for the top 5. And number 5, Medusa. Medusa is actually this guy, Timothy Smallbottoms, and this is the episode where Blue Falcon and Dynamite make a reappearance. And the guy, Timothy Smallbottoms, did this to sell expensive vases to avoid paying taxes. I mean, nobody wants to pay taxes. And number 4, the Sharkmen. The Sharkmen in this series are also solid. I gotta put them this high. They're just really solid. The Sharkmen have a great design with the blue, their swimming ability. And number 3, the Ghost of Jean LeBeau. The Ghost of Jean LeBeau is really solid. I like its design. It's really solid. Jean LeBeau has got to be one of my favorites. And number 2, the Fish Monster. Even though this isn't much talked about, I honestly like it, which I included in the thumbnail. The Fish Monster is really solid, similar to, it has an antenna like an anglerfish. It's just really solid. But at number 1, the Sculpture Monster. The Sculpture Monster is honestly really great. I love its design, and it's great. And this is the 100th episode. There we go. Stay tuned.